Sports. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll. It's wins and losses, highs and lows. It's effort, respect, and dedication. The High School Sports Beat. Sports. It's who we are.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. We continue our look back at Section 5 sports with a flashback to our first season on 13 Wham from October of 2012. Here's Bill Pucko with the section's best girls swimmers.
They spend months competing against each other before coming together to compete as a group. They're pretty impressive. It was the greatest assemblage of swimming talent this side of the state meet. The best of Section 5 was brought together for the Sectional Swim Meets program cover photograph.
It was really cool. All these girls are really nice, and it's an honor to be a part of the top 20 in the state from Section 5.
And to be a cover girl, right? Is that something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I've never done this before, so it's nice to be a senior and get to be with all of these other girls. It's really cool.
Bob Black, the Canandaigua coach, doubled as the photographer.
We have some great swimmers, some of the best in the state, and it's fun to see them now. And it's just exciting to think about what they're going to do at sectionals at the state meet. So we're really, getting that time of the season. We're getting ready for really fast swimming. So I think we're in good position to do that.
If there's one discipline where the section is particularly deep, it's sprinters. HFL's Carrie Stankaitis is the star here. She brings state championship credibility with her. She won the 50 free as a freshman. That was 3 years ago.
It's weird being the senior and the oldest on the team and having to step up as a captain and a leader for everyone else.
Coach Norm Scheckler has been there for every Stankaitis stroke over her 5-year varsity career.
It's been fun. I've seen this before. HFL has 2 kids that I coach that are in the Hall of Fame now. So, you never know you're going to get another one that comes along that's that great again. And so, I'm looking forward to others coming along.
Everyone has just gotten so much faster over the years, and there's so many younger girls just popping up out of nowhere. It seems getting faster, but I was that girl freshman year, so it's not that weird, I guess.
The newest newcomer is Pittsford's Katie Smith, who last week swam the second fastest 50 in sectional history, behind only Olympian Carolyn Joyce of Webster 12 years ago. Smith, like Stankaitis before her, is swimming championship times as a freshman. What's it like having so much of your career still ahead of you?
It's exciting because I have so much time to improve and just get better and better times.
Smith will challenge reigning Section 5 champion Megan Burns of Rush Henrietta in the Class A Sectionals.
I look forward to swimming against Katie Smith because she's in my section, so it'll be a good race. I'm looking forward to racing her.
Will you beat her?
I don't know. She's gone really fast in season untapered, so it'll be something to see. It'll be exciting.
Those sprints are really competitive, aren't they?
Yeah, because it all depends on, in distance events, you have so many turns and times to make up what you've lost, but in sprints you just have that one chance and that's all you get.
This group will come together when the sectionals conclude and compete as a team representing the area at the States in Ithaca. They'll be led by a 31-year veteran of Section 5 swimming, Scheckler, who, coaching both the HFL boys and girls, celebrated his 500th win this year. What made you a successful coach?
Question.
I know the easy answer is say, I had great swimmers, but certainly you made some contributions in there that helped them along the way. So what do you give them?
One of the things that I think that works best for me is I talk with the kids. It's more of a verbal talk about goals, and I work with each one individually and set goals for them individually, and help them kind of look at reasonable things that they can each do. I help each athlete reach their potential.
Coming up next, Matt Trabold joins us for the high school notebook. We'll have that and more when the high school sports beat continues. Hello once again, and welcome back to the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. It is time now for the High School Notebook, and that, of course, means it is time for Matt Trabold. Matt, thanks for coming on board once again.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, as we are talking right now, as we are taping this show, it is actually day one for most high schools in Section 5 to get sports going. Pretty exciting stuff. What are some of the things you're hearing, and what are some of the things that are kind of like they're gearing up for?
Yeah, so like we have been saying on the show the last few weeks, developments in 2020, 2021, Section 5, high school sports, they're happening frequently. They're coming all the time. And that's why I really like talking about it with you here. So that is the understandable nature of it, really, with it being a historic pandemic. You understand why these organizations are making these changes because everything is changing in the world around them. So one of those big developments or big pieces of news in local high school sports of late was the Rochester City School District, which is universal remote learning for the first 10 weeks of the school year, which is a big factor in why they made this decision. So they're moving all fall sports, regardless of risk category, to that hopeful spring date of March 1st. So with that news, really the first team that popped in my head of many very relevant ones was that Rich Poffler's World of Increte boys soccer team. And that program has really not been around for that long, even just over the last few years. When you really think of, compared to other programs, it's still pretty much in its infancy in terms of years and years and years. So, I mean, the Griffins, though, already a mainstay, winning sectional titles and getting to the state Final Four in Middletown. They always have star power. Isaac Hakizamana, the little brother of Toy Hakizamana, who was a big player for them when they got very deep in states not too long ago. He was a junior last season, so that's kind of someone who will be waiting around probably for that senior campaign. And as for the conferences who will be giving it a go in soccer and other lower-risk sports this fall, like you were mentioning a second ago, a possible start date for games being discussed is Saturday, October 10th for the Monroe County League. And then leagues that are starting practice a week earlier than them really could be beginning games as early as Friday, October 2nd. So we have really that more substance as far as the season coming back than practices is that games. That's what people are really gearing up for in terms of what they want to see, highlights and such. So that's coming around pretty soon here. Those dates are not quite set in stone yet, but the fact that we're even talking about that being just in a couple weeks here is a big deal. Soccer is great in this area, as are those other sports in those risk categories. So it'll be very fun to see.
Well, one of the sports that won't be kicking off, so to speak, with the rest of the sports is, of course, football. But a couple of guys from Section 5 in the college ranks right now, they're playing and they're making some headlines.
Yeah, so with college football opening up more and more here, we're talking about Big Ten right before we came on. We're recording. So we're starting to see notable performances out of former Section 5 players now at the Division I FBS level. Most notably, former Pittsburgh and current Liberty running back Josh Mack. What a success story he was last year in his first season with Liberty as a redshirt junior. He was down the depth chart a little bit to begin the season, but then he got single-digit carries in the first 3 games, but then worked his way to becoming a reliable offensive standout as the season progressed. He ended last season with 792 rushing yards, 7 rushing touchdowns, and 136 carries. Very nice numbers there. Then this season, in the season opener versus Western Kentucky, he reached triple digits in rushing for the 4th time in his Flames career, started at the FCS level and Maine. So he had 100 yards against the Hilltoppers on 23 carries in a win. So then, staying kind of in that general area, Sun Belt Conference at Arkansas State, there's another starter who hails from Rochester and long snapper and former Fairport Red Raider, Seth Cottengim. At least one top-flight national college football outlet, Phil Steele's, really one of those outlets you're like, oh, this guy knows what he's talking about with college football. So he named him first-team All-Sun Belt after last season with what he did, and then second-team All-Sun Belt coming into this year. And his Red Wolves are coming off a big upset of a Big 12 opponent in Kansas State. So You like to see those guys from around here doing it big at that highest level of college football.
All right, great stuff, Matt. As always, man, it's a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I just wanted to say really quick, rest in peace to Jarvis Alexander and Jaquela Young.
Coming up next, the Making the Grade nominee with Kyle O'Gara, and later a classic matchup on the volleyball court between Penfield and McQuaid. We'll have that when High School Sports Beat returns.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the High School Sports Beat. I'm Kyle O'Gara. Making the grade this week is Churchville Chili senior Ryan Hewitson. Ryan is a swimmer for the Saints and has been on the diving team for 4 years. Ryan has been the team's scholar athlete for the last 3 years and volunteers his free time to help with the modified swimming team. In the classroom, Ryan has an impressive 99.2% average and plans to attend Carnegie Mellon next fall to study engineering. Ryan is described by athletic director Michael Murray as one of the hardest working athletes he's ever worked with and a great role model to others. This week, Ryan Hewitson is making the grade. If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them into mtg@rocksportsnow.com. Now here's Dave with the Section 5 Spotlight.
Well, thanks, Kyle. Here are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in our Section 5 Spotlight. Well, as we told you, former Pittsburgh Panther running back Joshua Mack kicked off his senior season with a 100-yard game for Liberty in a 30-24 win over Western Kentucky. Mack ran for almost 800 yards last year, his first for the Flames after transferring from Maine. Penfield's Eliza Fackler has committed to play college lacrosse at Loyola University. The junior midfielder also plays basketball for the Patriots. Fairport football coach Mark Vidicor announced he is resigning from the program to focus on his family. We congratulate Mark on his coaching success at Fairport and Red Jacket and wish him the best in the future. Coming up next, McQuaid volleyball goes for the 2012 Class A title versus Penfield. Well, those highlights from the High School Sports Beat continues.
And now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back, and thanks once again for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. Again, we flash back to our 13 WHAM debut season for the sectional volleyball matchup between McQuaid and Penfield. Here's Bill Puckle and Brian Mazurowski.
50 seems to be the number of the week. The Hornell football team won its Section 5 record 50th straight heading into the state football semifinals, and McQuaid's volleyball team was seeking to match it. Brian Mazurowski was there.
It was the first Tuesday of November, election night in America. And for those who wanted to avoid politics, there was no better place than Webster Schrader, where fans packed in to watch the boys' volleyball sectional finals. The night opened with Brighton claiming the Class B crown by defeating Mid-Lakes in 4 sets. It was an entertaining matchup to set the stage for the night's main event. The Class A championship was on the line as Penfield took on top-seeded McQuaid. The Patriots didn't have to be reminded about the game's importance.
I think my kids have been aiming for this goal for the entire year since August 17th, and I think it fulfills the goal that we had set as a program.
Penfield's just very disciplined. They're very well coached. I mean, Mike Dussar is a Hall of Fame coach if we had a Hall of Fame. I mean, the man's amazing. And they're just solid in all aspects of the game and should be really good.
If the undefeated Knights needed another reason not to take Penfield lightly, they got it in the first set. The Patriots jumped out to a 5-1 lead. Nick Denoncourt came up with some timely blocks and even an ace for Penfield, leading them to a 25-17 first set win.
We were all amped for this game. We all worked real hard for this game. We were looking forward to it. It was really just everybody getting pumped up, getting ready to play. We came in with confidence and...
Not wanting to go down 2 sets, McQuaid came back strong. They won the first 6 points of the second set and maintained control throughout in a 25-13 set win to tie the match at 1 set apiece. From there on, it was back and forth. Ben Traeger was big for Penfield, leading his team to a 12-8 lead in the third set. But McQuaid would come back, a total team effort to overcome the Penfield lead.
One of the things that the team preaches to itself is any guy on any day, whatever the circumstance, you just have to be able to step in and do your best. And you talk to the guys too, we define winning as being at our best.
McQuaid would come back and take the third set 25-21. Penfield was facing the end of their season. In the fourth set, it was Traeger making the momentum-shifting plays.
When our team gets on a roll, we feel like we're unstoppable, and when we play well, we can play as well as we can.
Momentum's a huge part of our game. If you notice, in any volleyball game you really watch, it's really who out-energizes the other team. It doesn't matter about talent, it doesn't matter about who's 6'10", who's 5'10". It's really just about the momentum and get your team going as an emotional leader.
The Patriots hung on to win the fourth set, pushing the match to a deciding fifth set.
We knew what to do. We were feeling a little bit of pressure, but we knew how to handle it.
I think it's pretty easy to get pumped up because whoever wins that game is going to win the championship. So, I think that's what the best everyone had in that last set there.
Our coach stressed mental toughness and just staying calm throughout everything. And from there, we just work hard and try to block everything out.
With every point scored, the crowd grew louder. McQuaid soon held a 21-16 lead. But Penfield had one last push left in them. The Patriots' surge brought them within 2 points. McQuaid's lead was too much to overcome, though. Junior Colby Harriman had kills in the final 2 points of the match. The Knights prevailed 25-21.
Full team effort, it makes it harder for the other team, and when we did that, it worked out tonight.
I think all of us we're tired out, and just a couple things didn't go our way, and we felt like we could have won that game, but props to McQuaid for winning.
It was McQuaid's third straight title, and their season isn't done yet.
I think our goal is just win as much as we can, because I think if we play together as a team, we have the potential to do everything.
Brian joins us now. Brian, last year McQuaid was steamrolling teams. This was a little tougher, wasn't it?
Yeah, Penfield really gave them a run for their money there, and as you could see, it was a great matchup. Their coach Fuser, a great coach, some great players on Penfield. So look for them maybe next year.
Yeah, Penfield's traditionally tough.
Well, we'd like to thank the athletes, teams, and coaches in Section 5 for making the sports beat possible. We'd also like to remind you, now that the seasons are getting going, if you've got a story out there, we want to hear about it. We'd love to come and cover you. Well, thanks for watching. Be safe, and we'll see you back here next week for more of the High School Sports Beat.